Welcome back to GoldSeek TV. I'm here with the president and CEO of Kootenay Silver, Jim McDonald. Thank you for joining us on this another exciting day of drill results for you.
Yeah, Peter, it's good to be here.
We have another big headline number coming out of Kootenay, over 2 kilos over a meter. Tell us more about these drill results. What are these latest and last drill results for 2023's drill program showing?
Yeah, over 2 kilos. That's a real nice hit within a broader interval there. These are two holes, the last two holes, and they're important because they are within the silver zone itself. They are the easternmost holes on the D vein, so it leaves it wide open along straight in that direction eastward. And for several hundred meters away, it looks like it's intersecting another vein called the B vein, B like Bob, and very lightly drilled that particular vein, but it's got intercepts like 4.6 meters of 1,200 grams per ton silver. So it shows great promise as well. So now this is wide open with these two holes, and both of these holes hit real nice widths over half kilo, like 10 meters in one case and over 8 meters on the other hole. The true width of these are 4 to 5 or 6 meters true width on that, and then surrounded by this grade around it. So in the one hole, there's 17 meters of over 300 grams around that high grade. Well, it includes that high grade, and then the other hole is 28 meters of over 230 grams or thereabouts. So yeah, you've got this real nice wide, real true high grade at half kilo, and then you've got this real good grade around it, good to medium grade around it that has the potential to really bulk up ounces as well. So really exciting and wide open along strike. In fact, both directions and to depth.
At depth. So how far east were these drill holes from the prior ones?
Well, these were step outs of about 50 to 70 meters away from any prior. And there was one or two holes shallow above it, but those holes were above the silver, like the top of the silver zone. So this classic vein model where we're at the very tip top of this system, so where we're exposed at surface, in some cases we're above the silver zone, and in this case on the D vein in this area we are above the silver zone at surface. So as a rule of thumb, you want to drill down to a level of about 1,700 meters above sea level, and that's where you start to see your good vein and grade start to kick in. And so these holes were the easternmost in that sweet spot, if you will, in the silver zone. And so they're like 50 to 70 meters away from adjoining holes.
Fantastic. So you're saying that at depth and on sides that this D vein hasn't been you haven't defined the constraints of the D vein. So
No, it's open in all directions, so both ways laterally and to depth.
So now that you have the final results for this year's program, as mentioned in the press release, it's pretty exciting and it warrants for additional drilling, obviously. So, it's preliminary. I know you don't have the drill program set up, but what do you think about the coming year? Are you going to go deeper on some of these holes to test that out on the D vein, or what's looking interesting right now?
It'll be step out, a kind of a regularized grid type pattern, just stepping out along strike. So we don't need to go much deeper, although it's wide open to depth. At this stage, we don't need to go much deeper to potentially build ounces. We got lots of room going out sideways laterally. So we're just systematically keep stepping out and out and out until we find the edges. And then do the same kind of thing on the B vein, and then do some infill style drilling on the historic vein called the F vein, because we already have over 40 holes there, and we need to fill some gaps to be able to have enough density for a resource. So once we complete all of this on these, primarily on these three areas, uh, we hope we're in a position, and the aim is we'll be in a position to do a maiden resource by, say, third quarter, beginning of fourth quarter next year. And so that will require a minimum of about 20,000 meters more drilling.
Okay. So you've already completed quite the prior drilling was around 30,000 meters. Is that correct? And then
Yeah.
12,000 this year. So
Yeah,
you're,
we've finished now in total since we started drilling 30,000 meters and 147 holes in numerous different veins. Um, uh, m- the most drilling has been in that historic F vein, and now the D vein has a reasonable amount of drilling and very predictable, very nice to see. Like on these step out holes on the D vein, 12 out of 12 hit at where the vein where predicted. And
mm,
so it's real good to see that continuity.
mhm. And and this the ore grades are holding up quite well over the vein structure, it sounds like. And when you talk about these really high grade areas, it just kind of concentrates in certain areas, and then I mean overall the grades are excellent, very high grade, but certain areas are really showing some very high grade concentrations. What is the cause of that, and uh, is it is it pretty limited in certain areas, or how are you seeing this vein structure come together? It sounds like it's pretty continuous, and there's no uh, are the widths varying quite a bit, or just a little bit of an idea of how the structure looks like?
Yeah, so with veins, you can think of them as originally as big cracks in the crust, and then they get filled up with fluid and vein material, and hopefully high grades of silver or gold, whatever you're looking for. So as you in our case, we've got some very persistent structures, veins. We can follow them for some of them up to 4 kilometers in length. And we're finding, like on the D vein, very consistent mineralization along it. So within these long structures, you'll get zones or pods, if you will, that are called ore chutes in the case of a mine. They're mineralized chutes, quite often maybe. And what causes the concentration along any section of that structure could be another structure that hits it and opens it up more, or just a slight change in direction that causes that uh, structure or crack to open up, like a dilation, like an eye. If you
Hmm.
think you get the stress and everything, will open up a zone like that, and that'll get flooded with mineralized material. And so you can have some of those can be very, very large. Individual zones like that can be very large. And that's why in these epithermal systems, typically you'll get a handful of the structures, could be two, three, four, that will have the majority of the ounces in it. And then you'll get a whole bunch of other ones that are smaller, but it's those big ones that make the project really work. And so that's why we're excited about the D vein. We've, we've seen at least 450 meters between drill holes now on this horizontal dimension. So it's a pretty good size already, and it's wide open along strike with those last two holes. Great holes are on the edge, so it keeps going. And that's the exercise of drilling now. Just keep systematically in a grid-like pattern, drill that off, and find where those edges are, see how big that zone is, and with enough density drilling, you can calculate a resource.
Fantastic. So under a year away for the maiden resource for Columba. Just one last question about the geology of this epithermal systems. Is it possible, is there potential that at depth that there is a gold system down there as well, or is this quite a unique, it's pretty defined?
Well, you can get a lot of variability in these vein systems. And quite often you'll get transitioning from your high silver from the very top, you'll have no silver. Then you'll get into a silver zone. Then in some systems, you'll get into silver plus base metal, and then eventually deeper base metal dominant. And then in other cases, maybe you pick up some gold along the way. Or sometimes you'll get more than one mineralizing event happening along the same structures. And so you can have a completely different event that carries some different metals and overprints everything. So it can be quite complex, but in a classic model, you do see that zonation from high silver to higher base metal as you go deeper in a lot of the systems as a general rule of thumb. And we have a little bit of lead zinc showing up and some holes, some very good lead zinc. And not enough drilling to say that we see a zonation yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see it. And we do see some holes with significant gold. So something else has happened there. And so perhaps there was another event that was more gold dominant there. But drilling, time and drilling is going to tell the tale with regards to
Well,
that.
well, looking forward to the coming year drill program as well. The maiden resource, fantastic results for this year's drill program. Congratulations, as you said, 12 out of 12 hit, and they hit as you expected. So the theory is getting confirmed that this D vein is quite rich, and it's quite exciting to see it develop, and we'll have to see where the end points of this exist. So very, very nice update, Jim. Thank you for the insights. Always great to learn some new things about geology and understand these structures, because they're quite complex, and really really interesting to see how they come together. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you, Peter, for your time.
Great, thanks.